Oh, like I said, man, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? He ain't even at 168. You know, when you look
Right,
at
not now. It's at 175.
he probably can't even make 168 no more. Look
Yeah.
at when you look at these fights, you know, especially
Like I said, I don't want no handouts either. I want to, earn my spots everywhere I go, even at 175. But, I see that weight class. I want to become champion at 175, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's a tough fight. I don't know if Bud can overcome that. That's different. That's a lot. That's a lot to overcome. Height, reach, the speed of Benavidez coming downhill, the stamina, because this a guy that does get stronger as the fight goes also. So some of the advantages he had over Canelo, he wouldn't have at Benavidez. I think it will be a question if Benavidez can make the weight.
But yeah, I mean, if the fight comes up, the opportunity comes up, I would love that fight.
So you're saying 160 versus Crawford, you do it?
Oh yeah.
Right after defeating Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford fired back at David Benavidez, saying he can't even make 168, and the boxing world hasn't stopped talking since. Following his win over Canelo, Crawford sat down with Stephen Smith to discuss what could be next. When Smith brought up Benavidez as a possible opponent, Crawford delivered a sharp response that instantly set social media and analysts ablaze. In one statement, he questioned whether Benavidez could even make the super middleweight limit, casting doubt on the possibility of a showdown.
You were at 168. When we think about anybody at 168 outside of Canelo, the first name that comes to anybody's mind is David Benavidez. What about the potential for a fight like that?
oh, like I said, man, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? He ain't even at 168. You know, when you look
Right, not now. It's at 175.
he probably can't even make 168 no more. When you look at these fights, you know, especially coming up, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, say, all right, how big is this dude really is? Because David Benavidez, he can fight his ass off, and I told him that a long time. I told him that when, before I fought his brother. I said, man, dude, you can fight, dude. You're going to do big things.
Crawford's fiery remark ignited an already heated debate about his next opponent. Among those weighing in were Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman, two respected figures from the MMA world who also follow boxing closely. Both agreed on one point: they believe Benavidez can make 168, and a fight with Crawford would determine who the real champion is. For them, the issue wasn't about weight but about two big names colliding to settle the debate once and for all. They emphasized that fans don't want excuses or barriers, they want the best to fight the best.
Hear me out here, Kamaru. Terence Crawford versus the Mexican monster, David Benavidez.
I knew it was coming.
He was the mandatory for Canelo.
Oh my God. Relax.
What's up? The scariest guy in the division.
He's not in the division.
He said he could still make 168 pounds. The reason why he went up because nobody wants to fight him.
That's a big dude. And to be honest, Terence Crawford's 37 years old.
It's about merit. Could I get to the generational talent, as he said, with Manny Pacquiao? He's an 8-division world champ.
If it ain't no big name, Terence, do what.
As debates continued, Crawford used his post-fight press conference to confront his critics head-on. He reminded everyone how often he'd been doubted, how many claimed he was a nobody, and how those same voices were now silent after his dismantling of Canelo. With confidence and clear satisfaction, Crawford asked what more could possibly be said against him. It was a statement of dominance, delivered as if he knew exactly how much the boxing landscape had shifted in his favor.
Which do you think means the most?
And all of it. It all goes hand in hand.
Can you describe what it all means to you to have? You just made like a whole resume of stuff tonight.
It means a lot to me because, anybody can be a nobody, like I said, and that's all they say I've been fighting is nobodies. So what can they say now? Somebody tell me, what can you say now?
You can say congratulations.
That's it. What can you?
Still, Benavidez did not stay silent, rejecting Crawford's jab about not being able to make 168 and arguing that the real issue wasn't weight but division. He wanted to make it clear that the conversation was being framed the wrong way. From his perspective, Crawford had no business questioning him since they don't even compete in the same weight class. To Benavidez, it was a matter of staying in your lane, seeing himself as a natural 175-pounder. Benavidez made it clear he has his own plans and his own path to follow. He wasn't interested in letting outside voices dictate his career moves. For him, Crawford's comments felt more like noise than substance, more like an attempt to avoid dangerous territory than a real critique of his ability. It was easy for him to dismiss the talk as just another distraction.
Tough fight. You know, the top people ranked at the WC are fighting each other. So I mean, it should be an easy call. If I can't get those fights, then I'll go up to fight Bivol, or I'll go try to, you know, I set my conquest on 175. Like I said, I don't want no handouts either. I want to, you know, earn my spots everywhere I go, even at 175. But, you know, I see that weight class, you know, I want to become champion at 175.
Despite his words, many observers began to wonder whether Benavidez might be trying to avoid the matchup altogether. Some even hinted that his response sounded more like deflection than confidence. While Crawford's camp accused him of struggling with weight, Benavidez seemed focused on other potential opponents. To many, it looked like his attention was already shifting away from Crawford. Reports suggested he was already eyeing Dmitry Bivol, another dangerous name in the higher weight classes. That move signaled his intent to chase bigger tests rather than get dragged into side debates. This raised the question, is Benavidez ducking Crawford, or is he simply setting his sights on challenges that make more sense for his career trajectory? The uncertainty only added more heat to the discussion.
He hasn't been at 60. There's no big names at 60. 68, maybe the Benavidez fight. That's a tough fight for Bud. I ain't gonna lie, that's a tough fight. Benavidez ain't no joke. Yeah, that's a tough fight. I don't know if Bud can overcome that. That's different. That's a lot. That's a lot to overcome. Height, reach, the speed of Benavidez coming downhill, the stamina. Because this a guy that does get stronger as the fight goes also. So some of the advantages he had over Canelo, he wouldn't have at Benavidez. I think it will be a question if Benavidez can make the weight. I know he's been there at 75.
Meanwhile, chatter about a Crawford-Benavidez clash continued to gain momentum behind the scenes. Whispers in gyms and boardrooms suggested the matchup was becoming harder to ignore. Coach Breadman, a well-known figure in boxing, revealed that interest in the fight is very real. His words carried weight, given his reputation for reading the sports landscape accurately. According to Breadman, Al Heyman has shown strong interest in making the fight happen, hinting that forces bigger than the fighters themselves may be pushing for this showdown. That kind of backing often shifts the balance in negotiations. That revelation only poured gasoline on the fire. Because when someone like Heyman gets involved, fights often go from fantasy to reality in the blink of an eye. It was the clearest sign yet that this clash might actually materialize.
I think Terrence Crawford will be like 38 years old, you know? I mean, it will not be the same as Canelo, man. We know David comes in and throws a lot of punches and put the pressure. And no disrespect to Terrence Crawford, he's the best pound for pound. He's in the books to do history. He did something that nobody could do. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the Mexican monster, you know? David's young, strong, super big for Terrence Crawford. And, you know, even Terrence Crawford said that Kavalaskis or whatever.
As speculation grew, David Benavidez's father and trainer, Jose Benavidez Senior, stepped forward with his own perspective. He acknowledged Crawford's greatness and praised his skills and accomplishments, but his tone quickly shifted into a warning. In his view, Crawford may have handled Canelo, but David presents an entirely different challenge. He described his son's punches as brutal and cautioned that facing Benavidez would not be the same as facing Canelo. According to him, Crawford would be standing across from a Mexican monster at his absolute peak, and the outcome would be far different than what fans had just witnessed. His words came off as both protective and promotional, painting David as the true threat of the division.
Turkey are talking about it. Turkey hinted at that. He was like Benavidez. Yeah, he Turkey, did. So Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terrence Crawford. No, we ain't doing that fight. Maybe planning on vacating the belts. No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts. You know, we just gonna sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our thing. Honest.
On the other side, Crawford's longtime trainer Bomac was quick to shut down the idea of a Benavidez fight. While others fueled the hype, Bomac dismissed it, stressing that the team was focused on steady progression and more realistic future options. His comments signaled that Crawford's camp was not willing to let outside pressure dictate their path, no matter how badly fans or promoters wanted the fight. For Bomac, the priority was maintaining discipline, not chasing headlines.
I mean, If the fight comes up, the opportunity comes up, I would love that fight.
So you're saying 160 versus Crawford, you do it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's right now like at 154, like let's say he says, you know what, I want you to jump up to 160.
Why not? I mean, I feel like I'm a big 154 as it is, you know? I mean, I was a big 140. I was a 140, a big 140, a big 147, a big 154. I think 160, I've always said I'd go to 160 eventually.
Even as the back and forth continued, another voice entered the mix, Virgil Ortiz. The young fighter not only shared his perspective but also called out Crawford directly. Ortiz declared that he would gladly face Crawford, but only under one condition: the fight would take place at 160 pounds. To him, that wasn't a major obstacle, and he was more than willing to test himself against the reigning pound-for-pound king. Ortiz positioned himself as a fighter ready to step up while others were still caught in negotiations.
I mean, I don't know if David can make the weight anymore. I mean, it's one thing to want to go down, but are you still able to? So I don't know. Would it entice him? Maybe, but that doesn't mean that he can do it. You know, I mean, that's he's been at 168 for.
Ortiz didn't stop there. When asked about the possibility of Benavidez making 168, he dismissed the idea completely. In his view, there was little chance of Benavidez successfully cutting down to that weight. Ortiz argued that the super middleweight limit would be far too difficult for Benavidez to reach, especially at this stage of his career. By saying this, Ortiz not only threw shade at Benavidez but also cast doubt on the fight so many were hoping to see. His remarks echoed Crawford's original criticism, adding even more weight from an outsider's perspective.
Benavidez. He said he wanted if Benavidez to make 168.
We just talked to Womack and he was like, "Nah, we don't want to do that."
I just think Benavidez, he's like what, 6'5", 6 something like that. He's a big dude, bro. He's a big dude, man. So I just who knows? Now you got fight announcements now. They got, you know, Rey Mysterio fighting Andrew Tate and I don't know, just crazy stuff. So
this mix of comments, reactions, and predictions has given fans plenty to think about. Crawford has already cemented his place as one of the greatest fighters of the decade, a man who silenced his doubters by conquering Canelo and achieving a historic feat few boxers ever will. Yet even with that victory still fresh in everyone's mind, the conversation has shifted to what comes next. The buzz grows louder by the day, with every interview, podcast, and article feeding into the same larger question: who will Crawford face next? And will Benavidez be the one to step up?
Benavidez. That's just Turkey trying to pull rank. Turkey trying to show he got a golden arm. You know what I mean?
I understand that Turkey likes to make these big grand events, but there's a boxing aspect to this shit too. Like, some stuff gotta make boxing sense. Bringing the dude down that's been comfortable at 75, bringing him back down to 68, and then having him fight a dude that just jumped 3 weight classes in 2 fights and started his career off at 35.
Right.
Like, no, bro. No.
Yeah, I don't want to see that fight. There's no point. There's no point. Like I said, Bud needs to just go get it.
Benavidez continues to loom as both a potential rival and a question mark, with his weight, focus, and intentions all under scrutiny. Analysts, fighters, and even family members have weighed in, yet no one can say for certain if the fight will actually materialize. What is clear is that the tension between these two names has injected fresh energy into boxing's ongoing debates. The drama is no longer just about Crawford's greatness or Benavidez's potential, it's about whether their paths will ultimately collide in the ring.
You gotta understand.
I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't, you know?
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude. Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother. His brother was big when I fought him. The only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. He might be thick, but he's not a big dude. Benavidez is like 6 foot something. Then he gonna come in 190, 200 probably. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like, that's a big dude.
And he's skilled.
I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez.
And so the question remains, will Crawford and Benavidez ever share the same ring, or will their feud become just another chapter in boxing's long history of what-ifs? Fans, analysts, and promoters are all eager to see how it plays out. The only certainty is that the drama in this sport is far from over. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on every call-out, controversy, and clash, be sure to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Boxing Hub, where fight night drama never ends.